I'm good.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Did you see the clip where Wack was like introducing and explaining you to me?
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay, so I apologize if I said anything that was not educated about who you were and everything. That was just me getting familiar right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Adam 22 is messy. He brings on SKG. This is the woman that went viral on the clip. I think it was with TMZ. I made a video about it, and she was making certain allegations against Big U. And I believe her, to be honest, but let's continue. He put her on the show. And, man, he been hanging with Vlad TV a little bit too long because instead of putting out the full interview, he just put out a little snippet. I noticed that Adam's been kind of doing that lately. But let's continue.
Yeah. But how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm doing better.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
Oh.
What, you feel like you got a little bit of relief since these charges came out or what?
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel that because it's been a fight. Like I've been fighting and talking about this on the solo journey, you know, going against everyone because, you know, Big U is powerful. So when you're going up against somebody that's that powerful and everyone is flocking to him and you're trying to tell your story and you keep going and you keep going, yeah, it is a relief.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an awakening once this stuff hits the news and all of a sudden it's like a bunch of stuff that was being said in the shadows just kind of comes to light.
Yeah, and then it's sad, you know, when you really look at it, it's a sad story. It's just a sad story because everybody lose. You know, I lost a lot of stuff that he took from me. Ray Sean lost. He lost his life. His family lost him. Nipsey lost. He lost his life. Big U lost because of the greed. His family lost because he was the head of the table. So when you really look at it, and then the community lost because the community looks for community leaders to help and uplift the community and uplift people in the community. So when you have something like this, it's just a loss, and it's a loss for our city because we all had to go through this, and then it makes people like, well, we don't want to give organizations any money. We don't want to do this for Black people. We don't want to, you know, so if they look at one person like that, they're going to look at all of us like it. So it's just a loss.
Wow.
A loss, but I'll say, you know, it's a good thing too. Big U was extorting the neighborhood, you know, allegedly, should I say, innocent to proven guilty. But let's be honest, when the feds got you, they got you. Unless a miracle happens, who knows? But it's a loss. She's right with that in a sense that I think about the family. Besides the community, that's one thing, right? But I got another video I'm gonna react to with Bosco, and he's talking about how Big U, he's like what, 50 years old, approaching 60, has a family, a wife and kids, and he gets arrested for this. Yeah, the kids lost out, but that's why you should think about the crimes before you commit them. Anybody listening out there, your family will be hurt by your actions.
Around the board.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, it is pretty crazy just to have so much stuff that was said behind the scenes just coming out into the public eye. But just to get your story from the beginning, so you're from the Rolling 60s neighborhood growing up, or did you kind of adopt this a little bit later on?
No. So to start from the beginning, I have a generational family from the Rolling 60s. If you look at a lot of people in Los Angeles, and Kendrick Lamar said this, people from LA that's in the inner cities, we are a product of our grandparents migrating from the South. And I have that story. So my family came from the South and the East Coast and landed in LA. So my grandparents moved over in the Rolling 60s in like 1960 something. So we are a generational family, which we are friends with other families within that neighborhood and community. Yeah.
Okay. And so how much of that was kind of in your face from a young age, the fact that your parents were affiliated?
I mean,
I would say her whole life.
So me growing up, it's not even the affiliation, it's the dysfunctional living, if we can start there. So coming from a dysfunctional family and a dysfunctional household, I was already born into that. And my mother told me that because I was crying and complaining. And I'm like, you know, you guys, everybody is just up. And she said it was already there. You was just born into it. And when you kind of look at stuff like that, it make you look at things differently. So everything was already happening. I was just born into the dysfunctionalness, and which included the gangs, the drugs, prison, you know, just all type of crazy stuff. And I just had to find my way through that, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. So do you have a lot of memories of seeing very wild things going on from a really young age?
Yeah, from a young age. So my mom, her family is from out the 60s, out the West Side. My father used to run with a guy named Jimmy Lavender. They started the Nine Deuce Bishop Bloods on the East Side.
Okay.
I've heard of that name before.
So my mom's side was from the West Side. My dad's side was from the East Side. Growing up, my mother, she was on drugs when I was young. And so my brother, who was from 60s, but he passed away, he took care of me. And then our father was in and out of prison. He couldn't take care of me, because it was so much for my brother because he was young.
Right.
And so then we went to go live with my grandmother. And then my grandmother was over in the 60s. And so I was over there with my grandmother until my mother got off drugs. And, just growing up, I seen all type of stuff. Our house used to get shot up by the VNGs. They used to come over, do drive-bys. My mother's on drugs. Her siblings on drugs. Her brothers is hustlers. They in the streets making money. People's getting killed. It's just a lot. Things that I shouldn't have saw, and I think about that. I'm like, you guys let me see too much at a young age and nobody ever protected me. My grandmother protected me to the best of her ability. But after she passed away, it was just me in the streets and trying to, find my way.
Definitely. So your brother was how many years older than you?
My brother was like 10 years older than me.
Okay. And so you said in another interview I saw that basically like you spent your whole childhood just really just enamored with him and just kind of taking his lead on a variety of things.
So I really looked up to my brother, right? I think he was just my hero. Like the older I get and I'm more dissecting things, he was my hero. He was everything to me because he was my only sibling. So everything my brother did, I wanted to mimic. I wanted to do. My brother was a gangbanger. He was from Rolling 60s. My brother was a gunner. He was from Rolling 60s. My brother was a street dude. I'm not going to sugarcoat where I come from because that's why we're dealing with this today. And when you look at that area, most of the people in that area, they exhibit the same traits, if that makes sense. My family, I come from a family that exhibit the same traits that Big Q exhibit. That's why we don't get along. Even with me speaking out, I have an uncle that's in jail for murder, for killing some kids, and for retaliating against somebody that killed my uncle. And so he calls my mom recently and he's like, yeah, I heard your daughter's running around town starting stuff with Big Q. My niggas are killers. This is how he's referring to Big Q.
And that's his niece. But that's how the gang culture is. They put their gang and their bandana in their neighborhood before their family. And, the dude's calling her family. Basically, it's a veiled threat, in my opinion, saying, oh, you're starting crap with Big U. Man, screw Big U. Criminal thug extorting the neighborhood, doing all kinds of dastardly acts. And now he's facing a lot of time in prison. You hear what this woman said? From an early age, she was born into this dysfunction. I'm glad she went that route. She's right. And we shouldn't be afraid to speak out against this crap. That's what it is. I would say worse, but I'm on YouTube and I'm a Christian.
So I get into it with my mom in a sense and tell her brother to keep my name out his mouth. You already in jail for killing kids. So my voice.
She put him on blast too. Good job. Great job. And I can somewhat relate. Sometimes our family members are just hard-headed, criminal-minded people themselves. Believe in no snitching. They believe in selling dope and everything. When I became a Christian and I put the bandana down and I quit pushing poison to my people, a lot of my people were not very happy with that decision that I made. And till this day, there's a divide. They think I'm too good. Oh, he's a Christian. He thinks he's white. Right? My own people. Because I don't live that criminal element any longer. And it's been, how long? 10, 15 years since I've entertained any of that crap.
It's not going to resonate with you because your demons entertain his demons. You guys are alike.
Yeah.
So someone like me saying this isn't right, you're not going to be on my side because in your mind and your spirit is right because you resonate with the evilness that he does. Does that make sense? So I'm literally one person going up against everybody.
Right.
She's right about that. And it's funny she talks about demons, but it's spiritual. I said it before. I asked Hector Bravo, the prison guard, about this. He kind of went and said it was generational with the gangs in Cali, but I think it's a cult. I think it's a demonic, satanic spirit movement, whatever you want to call it. It's evil. Gangs, in my opinion, they are cult members. They'll die for their cult. They'll kill for it and everything. You can get mad and say, oh, what about Christians? But I'm telling you, what gangs have done to the United States of America in these neighborhoods, they've terrorized these communities and their own people, and they're evil.
Definitely. So what'd you do like after high school? Did you graduate?
Yeah, I graduated.
Okay. Did you go to college or anything?
Yeah, I went to college, but my thing was more so music.
Okay.
Like, so I was actually locked up. So let's go back.
And I heard that she was a part of Death Row. SKG, Suge something girl, gangsta. I forgot exactly what they said. They say in the comments, I don't know how true that is, but they say that she was part of Death Row at one time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I was with my grandmother. My grandmother passed away. I went back with my mother. My mother got off drugs. I stayed with my mom for a couple of years. It was very toxic, and I was basically in the streets. And so that's when I turned to music. At this time, I'm like 13, 14. I'm in the streets. I'm going to studios, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to get a deal. I got my first apartment at 15, got a job at Martin Luther King Hospital at 16. I started making my own money, doing my own thing. My first apartment I got was on Crenshaw 48th. The landlord, Mr. Leonard, gave it to me. I gave him cash. I was 15 and had my own place. So I was always out here hustling and grinding. I ended up going to juvenile hall. I had to do a year and a half because I had got in trouble. While I was in there, I was writing music. And so when I got out, I started recording the music that I wrote in there. And that's the music that I got to deal with Death Row Records.
Okay. So how'd you even get into the view of Suge?
Okay, so it was someone else from Rolling 60s named Keita Rock. Have you ever heard of Keita Rock?
Yeah.
I got my deal because of Keita Rock.
Okay.
And I want to reiterate this. Everybody that's from the neighborhood is not bad, right?
Right.
Everybody that's from the inner city or even from gangs are not bad people. You have really good people. I have men that have mentored me, right? But then you have people like Big U. So Keita Rock was one person that was mentoring me. He was very close with my family. Keita Rock believed in me. And he took me over to Death Row Records. Reggie Wright was over there. Suge was in jail. And they ended up signing me.
And there it is, y'all. Let's get over here so we can get into the video. My bad. So SKG, get an interview with Adam 22. I thought that was a pretty interesting interview. I seen the other day, and I just put it up on the screen to do a reaction real quick. She went viral, like I said last time about speaking about Big U. She said he's responsible in the unaliving of Nipsey Hussle. He's an extorter. He was extorting people in the neighborhood, people that were like by Crenshaw High. I guess they were selling the food vendors, should I say? So she has a very different take than a lot of other people. She's in the community. She told you this is what she grew up in. With people like Big U, and you hear her uncle, what a freaking scumbag in prison, basically threatening his own niece over Big U. How despicable. That's the first video that I've seen of her being interviewed on Adam 22's channel. Any more that come out, I'll do reacts to it. This whole situation with with Big U and the Operation Drawdown and all this, it's interesting to say the least, and we're going to highlight it over here because I like to see criminals go to jail for the crimes they commit, and you ain't got to like it. Remember that part.